Coming up just around the corner, we are diving into a report from an NBA insider as he kind of gave his full thoughts around the latest Zach LaVine trade rumors. And then also that guy right there, man, Ayo Dosunmu, he's been on a heater this month. So we're going to show him some love, dive into some stats around Ayo. But let's dive into today's show. So I got a little challenge for all the real ones here on the Bulls Report. If you guys love what we do and want us to reach 6K subscribers by the NBA trade deadline, hit that subscribe button right down below. We need 464 of you guys. Trade deadline is next Thursday. I think we can do it. So if you guys are new here and want to stay up to date on the latest around the Bulls, hit that sub button right now. But let's dive into the report from Sam Vecenie, who wrote up a pretty cool article for The Athletic, just kind of diving into the latest around the Bulls and the latest around the Zach LaVine trade rumors, and I kind of want to show you guys his thoughts. So he said this: regardless of what you may hear, LaVine is a good player who has averaged 25.5 points per game on strong shooting splits over the last 4 years. He's not the best decision maker or defender, but even with those flaws, he was worthy nearly 11 wins last season by Taylor Snar's estimated plus-minus win model, third among NBA shooting guards. Carried on to say this: he wasn't playing at that level this season before his foot injury, but the Bulls' situation hasn't exactly been ideal either. He's not a number one option on a playoff team despite being paid like one, but as the salary cap rises over the next 3 years, his deal should be more commensurate with a solid number two option. Then he also said this: Sam Vecenie said his trade value right now as it stands, he thinks it's going to be a first-round pick plus a prospect. And, I thought what he said was, pretty damn interesting around just, Zach LaVine, because, I do really believe that he's almost became, I don't want to call him underrated this year, but I feel like most NBA fans view him as almost a total net negative, due to his contract, kind of what Vecenie said, due to also his playmaking, lack of defense. But, with the salary cap going up, I think LaVine will have maybe more suitors than we do think because, we've heard the reports left and right where it's like, oh, the Bulls could get 2 first-rounders for LaVine. And it's like LaVine may have no trade value at all, and there's no market for him. So I do think we're going to find ourselves kind of in the middle, and when it's all said and done with these, LaVine trade rumors. But then he also said some best fits for Zach LaVine, where he thinks he is going to go. We've heard the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't know if the Lakers really view LaVine as kind of that guy that get them over the hump, but maybe they do. The Detroit Pistons. We'll dive into the Pistons a little bit more here in a second, why I do think Jaden Ivey could be connected to the Bulls in a trade. But that's an interesting one. The Orlando Magic. Maybe the Magic, give you Anthony Black and maybe a heavily protected first-round pick, and that gets it done. Then also Brooklyn Nets. We know the Brooklyn Nets, they want kind of that, elite star guard, which they don't have right now, so maybe they could get involved. But these were the 4 teams he listed to kind of keep your eyes on for a Zach LaVine trade, and they carried on to they say this, which I thought was pretty interesting. He said, when LaVine emerged as a trade target earlier in the season, my theory was that the Bulls wouldn't give him away for cheap. It's worth noting that circumstances have changed since then as the Bulls played well in his absence by giving the ball more to Coby White, and Coby White's been playing great. He also said this: I don't know that a high-value deal is out there for him. My bet is that he either yields some sort of positive value back for the Bulls by February or ends up remaining with the franchise for now as it waits until the summer to see if a better deal comes along. And all I got to say to this, Bulls, don't wait till the summer. Get this done now. I thought LaVine should have been dealt at last NBA trade deadline. Then I thought he should have been dealt this past summer. And now we're at this year's NBA trade deadline, and, it just keeps creeping in the back of my mind that the Bulls may be looking at the Eastern Conference standings. They're like, oh, we're the 9 seed right now. We don't need to move off any of our guys. We're going to try to make a run in this year's playoffs. I tell you what, Bulls, if anybody in the front office is watching this, your max potential as a basketball team this year is you somehow win a play-in tournament game, you get in the first round, and you win 1 playoff game. That is the max. That is the best-case scenario for this group. So I just think he needs to be moved at the deadline. Admit you were wrong and move on. But a team that I really do think is going to get in the kind of sweepstakes here is the Detroit Pistons. We heard the report last week that the Bulls are talking, but there is a lot of smoke around the Pistons because maybe the Pistons just, looking at the record, they're 6-40 or something right now, and maybe they just want to add some more talent to this roster, which they definitely need. But this was James Edwards. He broke the news. He also works for The Athletic as well. Just talking about the Bulls and Pistons talking. He says the Bulls and Pistons have had conversations involving Zach LaVine. Chicago appears to be locked in on a package involving Bojan Bogdanovic and one of Detroit's blue chippers for LaVine and his hefty contract. Once again, the Pistons have shown no interest in parting with any of Cunningham, Ivey, Duren, or Thompson. It is possible Detroit considers adding LaVine if the Bulls' asking price goes down. However, those are discussions that have been happening and will continue to happen internally. So I tried to cook up some trade ideas, and this is the one I think is the most realistic. And in this package, the Bulls are also not receiving any picks, but you are receiving some dogs. I mean, you're getting Bogdanovic. He's an elite scorer, and you're also getting Jaden Ivey, and that's like the main piece, and I'll give you guys more thoughts on him in a second. But you're also getting some more size. Isaiah Stewart. I mean, obviously the Bulls, Vooch and Drummond, they're bigger players, but the Bulls don't really have that true four, in the spot, in the roster right now, and I think Isaiah Stewart, even though he does play more center, I think you just add more size to this roster, which the Bulls need, and obviously the Pistons getting Zach LaVine. But what I love most about this trade is this guy. I mean, you're getting Jaden Ivey. I was a big fan of him coming out of Purdue. 6'4", 200 pounds, has a really good size for a guard. And I think he, obviously he's not known as a defender in the NBA, but I think back to him at Purdue. He was one of the best defensive guards in the country, and obviously he is a true three-level scorer. Obviously the efficiency with him from downtown hasn't been, where I would like to see it in the NBA, but the dude's putting up good numbers this year. He was also out of the rotation earlier this year in Detroit, so maybe he's getting a little frustrated. Maybe the Pistons come to him and say, hey, would you be okay going here, or whatever the deal may be, and maybe he wants to get out. But averaging 14 points a game this year, 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists. I think this would be a great, trade for the Bulls, but let me know what you guys think. Would you guys accept this trade of the Bulls getting back Jaden Ivey, Bogdanovic, and Isaiah Stewart for Zach LaVine? I think this allows the Bulls to kind of, if they do want to continue, try to win games this year, I do think this trade, allows you that. Bogdanovic is a true three-level scorer, a professional scorer in the NBA. I like this trade, but let me know your thoughts. A for accept, D for decline. Coming up in just a second here, we're going to be breaking down Ayo Dosunmu because he's been absolutely balling out in 2024. We'll dive into those stats here in a second, but I do want to first tell you guys about today's sponsor. You guys know what it is. It is Prize Picks. If you guys head to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use that code CLNS, you're going to get a first deposit match all the way up to $100. I love using Prize Picks. Any boring game in the NBA, if you use Prize Picks and create a lineup for that game, it becomes a whole lot more interesting. And how do you play? All you got to do, you're going to pick 2 or more players. They're going to give you some projected stat types, and all you got to do is choose more or less, and you guys can see some cash roll in today. There's a lot of boring games in the NBA right now. It's the end of January, heading on to February. If you guys just want to add a little more juice to, your viewing experience, Prize Picks is the best way to do it. So at the prizepicks.com/CLNS, and if you guys use promo code CLNS, we're going to hook you guys up with a first deposit match up to $100 because I like you guys so much. I'll put that link for you in the comment section and in the description of today's show. All right, let's do it. Let's show Ayo Dosunmu some love because these stats in 2024 are just fantastic. Averaging 12 points a game, 2.8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, but it's the damn efficiency for my man Ayo that's been so good in the year of 2024. 50% from the deck, 43% from downtown, and a 90% free throw shooter. Never thought I'd see that out of Ayo. And listen to this. He is on pace to be the first player in Bulls history to have a 50-40-90 shooting splits over a month. I can't believe that a Bulls player has not done that yet. Turns out Ayo might be the first one to do it. But let's go a little deeper here. This is just overall on the season. See if you guys have a better perspective on just his shooting splits. Catch and shoot 3-point percentage. 38.3. Takes about 3 of those per game. Love that out of Ayo. The pull-up 3-point percentage, not his game. He doesn't even take a half pull-up 3 per game. That's at 25%. His pull-up midi field goal percentage, though, pretty damn solid. He's been getting to that spot, coming off pick and rolls a ton this season. That's at 52.5%. Then the less than 10 feet, sitting at 56.2%. So pretty good all across the board for Ayo. And this is my take on him. If Ayo is a plus offensively, I really do believe he is one of the better, if not one of the best role players in the NBA. He's 6'4", got a really long wingspan, can be a great point of attack defender, and we know what he does on the defensive side of the floor, can really hound opposing teams' guards. And if you're saying he can be a high-level catch-and-shoot three-point shooter, I mean, you got one of the better role players on your roster right now. And his deflections per game. I always compare deflections and steals to kind of pressures and sacks in the NFL. You know, I just think deflections are a great stat to kind of keep your eyes on because, you know, if you get a hand on a basketball, you can just, you know, completely disrupt what the other team wants to do offensively, and he's averaging 1.5 per game. You know, that's not a crazy number, but for a guard, that's pretty damn good. We obviously know Caruso is one of the best deflections per game guy in the NBA, so I just kind of think it speaks to, you know, how much of a dog Ayo is on the defensive side of the floor. Just overall intensity he plays with. He's been absolutely balling out, and that's why I want to do this. Show Ayo Dosunmu some love. The Chicago kid, you know, born and raised in the city, went and played his college ball at Illinois where he was a dog there as well. And now he's kind of had a little bit of a sophomore slump last season, but he's definitely turned around this year. So type his jersey number, type those 12s down in the comments section. And also, guys, if you guys made it to the end of today's video, I want you guys to comment Beast, because if you guys watch this whole thing, you are a beast. So comment Beast down below if you made it all the way to the end. I can check out where all the real beasts are watching the Bulls Report. So see you guys next time. As always, go Bulls, baby.